You know, 2020 has been a right dumpster fire, and that's putting it lightly. Of course, you have the actual important real-world issues like the virus that shall not be named, Black Lives Matter, Australia being on fire, threats of World War III, and, of course, 5G networks being put under suspicion of being a way for the Chinese government to spy on people around the globe. Thanks, Huawei. And, of course, that's not even all of them. I honestly bet there's more to come. For me personally, this year has been the toughest year mental health-wise I'll probably ever have to face. I'm sure that also applies to the majority of the global population too, but I digress. 2020 has also been a rough year for the online community too, with a lot of digital entertainment's release dates having to be postponed or pushed back. Some things have even had to be scrapped or, cancelled entirely. I really wanted my first public AO video to be fun and lighthearted, but as 2020 would have it, that's not possible anymore. Unfortunately for us Alicia Online fans, 2020 has also caught up to us. The 13th of August, 2020. Alicia Online, a game that had been given another chance to stay alive, is being given up on once again for the third time in a row now. Here's a short section of the statement that Alex posted onto the Alicia 101 Discord server. Not sure what to do with the server now. No need to close it, probably. I can organize a system where you can pay for it yourself. It is quite expensive, by the way, but together you might be able to do this. And there will be no more updates, of course. Facebook page is no longer an official page and becomes a fan page from now on. Maybe in the future I will just start over and open a smaller server only for the Russian community, and some other languages, and maintain it myself. After all, they didn't participate and didn't support all this nonsense. If you are a part of the English-speaking community, and you didn't support all this mess, and you share the same values as I described, then you are more than welcome on the new server. Your accounts will be fully transferred. See you there. With numerous grammatical errors and glaringly obvious jingoistic behavior, Alex has made it very clear that Alicia Online will be shutting down again. Oh, I can feel my mental health going down the drain more and more every day as 2020 nonchalantly keeps smacking everyone in the face. There have been many, and I mean many, infuriated members of the AO community spitting insults at the dev team for this. So much aggressive backlash. Sure, I was also very disappointed about the situation, but yikes. I think this could have all been handled with significantly less aggression, if I'm being honest. Quite frankly, this year at least, I don't have the motivation to give a f**k about having an opinion on who's right and who's wrong here. I'm not choosing a side. I was never part of the dev team either, so I'd rather not start accusing people of something I have no real idea or proof about. That's one heck of a dangerous game to play. If you want some insight into what made the community so angry about the dev team in the first place, then I'd advise you go watch Go's video on the matter. I won't go into whether I think this video is truthful or not though, you're just gonna have to form an opinion about it by yourself. What I can do, however, as a massive Alicia Online nerd, is state some unbiased facts and try my best to make it so that this game has a shot of being revived once again. After everything this game has been through, I really don't want it to go, especially if it doesn't have to. I also know it means so much to so many people, including myself, since I was also a player on the original Korean server. So what can we, the AO community, actually do? Alex clearly stated that he would allow players to keep the server he worked on running if someone could provide sufficient funding for it. I gathered that if enough people were to come together to try and save Alicia again, that he'd also provide us with his assets and hopefully codes too, because otherwise he'd be throwing away years worth of work. Now, I don't know Alex, not at all actually, but I'm sure he's rational enough to agree that all of his work would be better off given to another capable and dedicated team of people, rather than just being entirely deleted off the face of the digital universe, I hope. Of course, some aspects can be salvaged from the server right now, and some people are already extracting and sharing these assets around on social media, but there's a lot that only Alex has access to, so he'd have to be willing to share that. Well, it's entirely possible to work from the ground up, but that would waste so much unnecessary time. A lot of the game's features have already been implemented. The programmers willing to work on a new version of Alicia Online yet again would probably lose morale knowing what they're trying to, achieve or work on has already been done several times previously, and someone has already created the base code for it. Here's something very important that needs to be taken into consideration for anyone thinking they can contribute to something like Alicia Online. Currently, AO is a private server. This means that you can't legally make any profit from it without the risk of being sued and the game being taken down once again. Of course, there's also the possibility of gaining the rights to the game, which would allow profit to be made, but from what I've researched, that seems highly unlikely due to a long list of unresolved legal issues concerning the original creators. Yay! If there's a loophole to this profit situation that I'm unaware of, that would make things a lot easier, as there might be ways for the new philosophical dev team to receive donations, so they can keep the server and game running. If we take the financial and legal aspects out of the picture just for a second, here's everything that would be required for the game to be saved. Programmers, translators, digital/concept artists, 3D modelers and model riggers, animators, a management team, and of course, moderators. Realistically speaking, that's the bare minimum. I think it's entirely possible to gather people with those skill sets, because the AO community has a lot of very skilled and very passionate people. I myself also have the capability of helping out with a few of those roles. There are also a few things that definitely need to be reworked, such as a stricter moderation system and the ability for players to delete their accounts, but these alterations should only be discussed if a new team that's willing to work on AO actually does arise. Anywho, with all of this being said, in the interest of saving Alicia Online, I've created a Discord server for anyone who is willing to contribute anything in an effort to keep the game running. I hope to see many of you there, and remember, 2020 sucks, but you've survived most of it, so keep fighting! You've got this! P.S. If you'd like to save AO, but you know that you can't contribute to the actual development of the game, there is one way everybody could help out. Join the Discord server anyway, and share this video around using the SaveAO hashtag on any social media accounts you own, just to keep this message in the loop, of course. Thanks for listening.